Welcome back. I'm excited to see you. We made it almost halfway through this program. Congratulations. Now you have defined your paying audience needs, which was part one. Let's dive into part two, which is your unique ability set. In a world of short attention, to be noticed, you need to stand out. You need to be unique. The mistake most experts make is they interpret that as having to create a new product or a new market. The problem with that is, if you want to create a new thing, you need to convince people that they need that new thing. That's something that they actually need. Of course, I'm not saying that doesn't work, but it is costly. And it's noble to be a pioneer and a trailblazer, but it's not very efficient. The beautiful paradox is that you don't need to be an inventor. All you need to do is you need to serve your novel approach to a niche need. Let me explain. There are probably more than 10,000 books on heartbreak. All treat the same pain, but the most relevant ones, they resonate with their niche audience because they offer their unique approach to the same problem. Does it make sense? Summarized in one sentence, meet demand, don't create it. That is the foundation. Then, explain why your approach to removing the pain is novel. In other words, answer the question, why you very well. How do you do that? You present your unique combination of strengths in the context of your client's needs. Remember how I said, I promised you actually that this is not about you? Your novel approach will feel to the client like they finally have found the solution to their pain. The question is, can you credibly convey how your approach to the challenge is different and how you get different, better results? Ideally, the feeling in your paying audience is, first, he or she really understands my pain. This is so important, and this works best if you niche. And second, his or her novel approach to solve my pain makes sense. That will be the result of the next exercise. But first, an example. Remember how I shared what makes this program different? I showed you this diagram here. My unique ability set of 3 skills is an entirely new approach to the challenge of selling your expert services at high rates. And people understand that this is why it works better than any other solution. And now one last thing before we get started with the exercise creating your unique ability set. This part always reminds me of Steve Jobs' commencement speech. In that speech, he shared that you can only connect the dots afterwards, looking back. He underlines this point with the story of his calligraphy courses at university, which were the origin of a key differentiating factor in the Macintosh, the beautiful user experience. And if you haven't seen this one and you're curious, Google Steve Jobs' commencement speech and watch it. It's really priceless. Why am I sharing this? I encourage you to look back at your life and then widen your gaze and find value in the weirdness. Embrace supposed paradoxes. For example, my acquaintance Niraj, he's a trained pharmacist and he switched careers into alternative medicine and branded himself as the renegade pharmacist. And he appeals to a niche audience who's frustrated by traditional medicine. Make sense? And that audience understands that pharmacy plus plant medicine plus breathwork is a novel approach to their view of the world, to their pains. Another friend of mine, Jason, he used a stigma to his advantage. The stigma of the heartless salesperson. His book and brand is called Selling with Love. Can you see how he meets existing demand with a novel approach? And another example to drive this point home. In 2019, 2 actors founded a mezcal brand. Okay, nothing unusual so far. But that particular mezcal brand gets an average of 4.1 out of 5 stars reviews. That's not bad, but certainly not boutique, unlike its price tag. It currently retails for $45 a bottle, and upwards of 450 for an artisanal. Now, there are hundreds of alternatives available to customers, with better reviews and certainly cheaper. Why would anybody buy that mezcal? What if I told you that the founders and the faces of the brand are Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul, the famous badass duo from the hit series Breaking Bad that also played in Mexico? Dos Hombres, the Breaking Bad mezcal, sells not because it's good, it's young, and the actors are not distillers. The niche audience attributes the badass image and the emotions that they have felt during the show to the product, and they're willing to pay a premium for it. How does this translate to us, to what we're doing right now? In one word: uniqueness. So I encourage you to widen your gaze and embrace these supposed paradoxes. And now it's exercise time. Ask yourself, what are your key abilities that, if you rekindle them, can be your unique ability set, the foundation of your brand authority? And I suggest you also use a Venn diagram, just like me, with 2 or 3 of these circles. And before you go, comment below what aspects that I talked about in this video did you find most valuable. And we've almost made it through the program. When you're finished with the exercise, go straight to the final training video, and there we'll continue with the third phase, the notable differentiating factors. I'm excited. I'll see you there.